Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads and happy Thanksgiving everyone! Oh my goodness, it is Turkey Day and I am very excited for it, and this year we are not doing traditional turkey. My family and I, none of us like turkey, so we are doing carne asada and really leaning into our Mexican roots here and doing a full-on taco bar, so I'm very excited for that. Today, I just like to take a moment and pause to be thankful that my battery pack on my camera finally charged, so hopefully I'll be able to record this video without the data getting corrupted, because I recorded a whole video that was supposed to go up yesterday, only to have the data get corrupted somehow, and yeah, it didn't ever go up. So here I am, and this is my second time, but it is your guys' first time, talking about episode 4 of His Dark Materials. There are a few things I want to talk about this episode. Mostly the fact that we get introduced to two characters who a lot of us have been really waiting for, and that is Lee Scoresby and Iorek. This episode, we all knew was going to be about the armored bear and the aeronaut, and I know that a lot of people have had a lot of issues, but I have not read that far into the internet. I kind of wanted to make my opinion known first before I went and read what other people were saying about it. So with that as a disclaimer, I want to talk about Lee Scoresby first, because he was really kind of one of the highlights of this episode. I know that the traditional portrayal of Lee Scoresby is like this grizzled old Western cowboy. Like he's Texan, which is Lyra's World's version of American. We get this Texan Lee Scoresby, but he is so much younger and more vibrant with much more personality than I feel like we got to see in the books, because his personality from Lyra's perspective was more of like solemn with occasional sarcastic remarks, who really had this good relationship with Iorek. And what we get from Lin Manuel Miranda is something that takes that to an entirely new level. I feel like Lin Manuel Miranda has come out and given us a Lee Scoresby in his younger years. Lee, as he's still really pushing that aeronaut for hire, travel the world on my own way and do my own thing, and really embraces a lot of aspects of Lee that we didn't get to see in the books or the movie. I love how they made him obnoxiously Texan in his introduction. Not only is he singing kind of this like slow country song, but he's wearing like a cowboy hat. Within the first like 10 minutes of his scenes, he gets into a bar fight. So I really enjoyed that. I think that that was done really well. And of course they had Lin Manuel Miranda sing, because honestly I feel like if you put him somewhere in a show and don't have him sing, then it is a complete waste of his talent and you are not taking advantage of his full potential. And I'm really happy that he sang a little bit. What I found really interesting was that in Lee's opening scene, they did a lot of Iorek backstory and kind of explained the relationship between Lee and Iorek, which I understand why they had to, because it is such a subtle relationship with a lot more hinted story in the books, but here they kind of have to get that exposition done right away, so it makes sense as to why Lee is looking for Iorek. Honestly, I was really happy with all the scenes that he was in. I loved his relationship as they showed it with Hester. He had some amazing lines in there, like the "some look good naked, you do not," and then Hester had some great lines like, "You started the fight, now you're losing the fight," and you really showed them when he got kicked out of the saloon. And don't go up high, and just her general like heckling at him while he's in this fight and trying to help. I really enjoyed their relationship. I feel like it gave a whole other perspective of how humans and demons can be together, is different from what we've seen so far, so I was really excited to see that. I feel like with this portrayal so far, we are also going to get to see a lot more character development. We're going to get to see as Lyra and Lee build that relationship that they had in the books. We're going to get to see as Lyra teaches Lee her side of the world and what she's fighting for, and just really how she can get Lee behind her. And I'm really excited to see how their relationship grows and Lee's characterization and story arc, especially now since we are starting from such more of a colorful character that we got to see in the original material. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about Iorek, because I'm so excited for the armored bears. I think that they completely captured Iorek's personality. I think that they did a really fantastic job with the animation and making him seem like this big and powerful and threatening character on screen. I love that we got to see a little bit into Iorek as he's kind of ashamed and still bothered by his past, but we also get to see the fledglings of how he is also drawn to Lyra and Lyra's drawn to him, and how they will eventually like have another really great relationship and support each other. So I really like that we're starting with Iorek in his kind of ashamed and disgraceful state, because then we'll get to see that journey as he kind of goes and redeems himself by helping Lyra with her journey to the north. I loved everything with the armored bears. We get to see a lot of information about them. We get to hear the Panzerbjorn name for them, which I thought was really cool. And jumping to the end with Miss Coulter's scene with Iorek, I love just the difference that we get to see from Iorek to Iorek. Iorek, even though he's kind of in this disgraced state in his life is still very much knows who he is and kind of accepts it. Whereas I feel like Yofer, we're getting to see that beginning part where it's like he's a king, but he's shy and he's hiding himself away. And just the contrast between Yofer's armor, which is so like bombastious and shiny and new and obviously so very well taken care of, versus Iorek's where it's like it's obviously seen use. So whereas Yofer's looks like it's kind of like decoration, Iorek's I feel like will eventually look more like it's actually an armor that he uses to fight with. Speaking of Miss Coulter, she of course was amazingly and wonderfully evil as per usual. Ruth Ware killed it in all her scenes. I love how she just constantly has these continuation plans, how she's just really cunning and thinks through the problems that she's facing. And I love seeing her manipulation and seeing how she can kind of put on these different personalities depending on what she needs to get from a certain person. Her relationship with the golden monkey is so interesting because we see the golden, like it's mirroring her relationship with herself. Like we see the golden monkey every once in a while reaching out for like tenderness and reaching out for that affection, and she just slaps it away because she's trying not to have any of those like maternal or affectionate feelings at all. She's just trying to get what she wants done. Her question to the Alethiometer was very interesting. The who is Lyra Blackwa? It implies that she knows some of the prophecy that everyone's kind of been whispering about, but she wants like a straight answer for it. I'm interested to see how that gets played out too. As for Lyra, we finally get to see Lyra going north, which, side note, I like how Lord Asriel told her north is no place for a child, and then we cut straight to Miss Coulter saying we're going north to the children that she's kidnapped, and it's because like he knows what's happening in the north and doesn't want Lyra to go north, and yet Miss Coulter does know too, and she's trying to take these children. So I just thought that was a really interesting way to play off each other, or I thought those were two really interesting scenes that kind of play off each other. Lyra's on her way north. We see her talking to Tony Costa about getting all the kids back, about getting Roger and Billy back. We get to hear about Bolvangar, which is the station, but Bolvangar means fields of evil according to the witches. We get to finally get closer to meeting the witches, which I'm also very excited for. The whole Lyra explaining the Alethiometer scene to the witch consul and to Father Coram was great because it's almost exactly from the book. It's like a ladder for her stepping down at night. She just kind of relaxes her mind and feels what the symbols mean. I think that's just really the best way to explain it, especially to people who maybe are not quite familiar with how she uses the alethiometer. I loved the cloud pine scene, and we get to see her proving that she actually knows how to use it, especially to the witch's consul, who obviously knows the prophecy that's been referred to a couple times and is testing to see whether or not Lyra is the child. Okay, we get to see Kaisa. I also know people were upset that he is a different demon form than is what is described in the books, but honestly to me it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I understand, but also I feel like with how much they're keeping straight from the source material that one change is not that major, and if it is happening, since Philip Pullman is an executive producer on the show, it might be happening for a reason. So that didn't bother me too much. I knew it was Father Coram who had the relationship with Serafina. I was trying to remember who it was as I was watching, and when they confirmed it, I got really excited, and then of course I got completely heartbroken because you hear his story. I didn't expect them to lean into that all the way. I thought that they would wait until maybe Serafina was on screen and kind of have them hash it out, but I like that we kind of know now so that we understand what a big deal it is to meet the witches, and we get to kind of see how Father Coram has aged over the years versus Serafina Pekkala. I don't know, guys, we're moving. Like we still have so much more to go, but there's so much happening and we've come so far, and I'm just so excited to see all these pieces falling into place and how it goes forward with the TV show. But yeah, so those are my thoughts and opinions. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please let me know whether you agree, disagree, or if I missed anything that you wanted to mention. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you guys check back next week where I will be talking about episode 5, and I'm super excited to see where that episode goes. But that's all I have for you guys today. So thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.